To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to Talk About the Magic. I am Joseph, and I'm so happy that you decided to watch this video. In today's video, I'll be giving my review for Disney's Pete's Dragon. Now, technically, Pete's Dragon is a reimagining. It's not necessarily a remake. So what does that mean? It basically means the story that is told in like a different perspective. Now, technically, the issue that I had with the film is I feel like it was told in a 100% different perspective. This movie probably shouldn't have been called Pete's Dragon. Well, scratch that. If this movie was called something else other than Pete's Dragon, I think it could have stood on its own. It would have been its own film. The only really similarities is Pete and Elliot. Now, before I get into what I didn't like about the movie, let me go ahead and give you what I did like about the movie. When it comes to visuals, Disney has not disappointed once again. It is insane how they have been able to figure out a way to make the quality of effects that they do. Most films, you can usually tell, well, that's special effects. Disney literally makes you believe that dragon is real. It makes you believe that Ellie is a real dragon. I don't know if I've seen, as of late, from Jungle Book and now Pete's Dragon, any movie that can really compare to it when it comes to visuals from any other studio. So kudos, Disney. Amazing job on the effects. Another thing that I loved about it was the soundtrack. It is really well done, very well placed in the film. It really gets you into the movie, and afterwards you are humming and singing the songs that you have heard in the film. It's not a musical though, I just mean like the actual soundtrack that plays in the back of the movie. Another thing that I enjoyed about this movie is the way that they told the story. I think there was a lot of things that they could have done differently, and I feel the route they went actually was pretty good to an extent. With some of the choices that they made on how they explain certain things, I think it really made sense, and it did a really good job of making you feel like this is something that is very possible. Now, after saying all that, here's the things that I did not like about it. Starting off was the actual story. Going into this, I tried to keep my mind open, not thinking that this was going to be a replica of Pete's Dragon. And even after, understanding that it is a retelling, I feel like it was a very poor retelling. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I feel like if this movie came out with any other name about a boy and a dragon, it would have been totally fine. I think you wouldn't have seen a correlation between Pete's Dragon and this film. Mostly because I feel like the core story of this film is pretty far from Pete's Dragon, the original Pete's Dragon. On top of that, the other thing I didn't like about it is, even though the story was so kind of different and really could stand on its own, I feel like they needed to really kind of create characters in the new film that somehow kind of mirrored the old characters in the original film. So for instance, in the original film, you have a crazy, kooky, old man who is, everybody makes fun of him because he saw a dragon, and he's kind of a drunk and has this kind of identity crisis of what did he really see, who is he really, all that kind of stuff. And this one, you get Robert Redford character, who is technically playing that kind of role, except he's not a drunk and he's not like a buffoon kind of character. He's actually a normal person. The only issue that I have is he kind of was pointless. And what I mean by that is his character, to me, really did not need to be in the film, because he kind of just tried to play or portray that kind of storyteller person, that person who nobody really believed, because who believes in dragons after all. Yet he had of course seen the dragon, just like in the original film, but he just didn't really portray it well. His acting wasn't there. It seemed more like to me in the film, he actually became kind of a nuisance and a distraction, rather than being kind of a character that can really help with the story. The other issue I had, and it still goes along with the story, is I felt like it kind of was scattered. There was too many characters that you felt like you needed to be connected with or involved with, and then you come to find out not really. They're actually not as big of a deal as you think. They kind of would portray a character a certain way, and you would feel like, oh, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do with this character. I know what they stand for, who they are, and then completely do a 180, and you're just like, oh, then what's going on now? So I feel like the story was a little too sporadic as far as when it comes to the characters, their roles, and what they need to be doing. I feel like it didn't do it justice when you kind of look at the whole film and you see each character really not having an identity except for maybe one or two. Now, all in all, I still think it's a pretty good movie. If you go into the film thinking it's going to be like the original Pete's Dragon, you're going to be very disappointed and maybe even a little upset. But if you go with that completely out of your brain and just say, I'm going to watch a movie, I wouldn't even call it a reimagining. I would just say, I'm going to watch a movie about a new Disney movie about a dragon and a boy that looks pretty cool in the previews. I think you'd actually pretty much enjoy this movie a little better. So my review, if I was to give this any kind of rating, I would probably give it a 2.5, 3 dragon. And I know 2.5 is really low, it seems, and it's mostly because of that story. I know people who have seen it that loved it, and it's mostly because they don't really think about the other story. And I tried not to, but it's still in my heart because that's where I keep all my Disney treasures. So 2 dragon, 3 dragon out of 5. I'd say definitely go check it out. If you want to wait till it comes out in the red box, I don't think you're going to be hurting yourself either. Now guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little different, but it's something that I want to keep doing. So please be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Have a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're watching this, and as always, stay magical.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.